Flaws are your flowers. They might not give you powers, beauty, they are yours. No, embracing your flaws. Embracing your flaws. It's a lot harder than it sounds. And it's not something that you can do overnight. It's not something that you can do like in a snap of a finger that you can say to yourself that I've accepted my flaws 100%. And that's understandable because as we're growing up or getting older, we see a lot of people, we meet a lot of people who have different nuances, who have different characteristics, who have different attributes that sometimes and actually most of the times contribute to our own sense of flaws. We see ourselves as flawed when we compare ourselves with other people. And that's our number one enemy when it comes to our betterment as a person, as an individual. And if we compare ourselves with others, especially when you do it a lot of times or most of the time, you'll see yourself as someone who is flawed, as someone who is less of a person than other people. And while I do understand that sometimes it's not in our control when we compare ourselves with others because we're always surrounded by other people. But once we accept that we're uniquely different from one another and we're uniquely beautiful in our own ways, in our own self, in our own standard, that's the time when we realize that I'm not flawed. I'm actually perfect just the way I am. And as I've said earlier, it's not something that you can do overnight. It's not something that you can just accept immediately, with a snap of a finger. No, I'm not saying that. Of course, I'm quite aware how hard it is to do, to just accept our flaws, to embrace our flaws. And I know it varies from person to person on how hard it is, on like the gravity of our flaws are. Some people will take a lot of time, years even, to accept a flaw, a single flaw. It will take them a lot of years to accept it, especially if it's something that we can't control. It's not something that we can do about it. For example, our physical features. If we see it as our flaw, most likely we will not be able to do anything about it unless, of course, you go through surgeries or something like that. But it's not like an immediate solution. It's not something that we can just solve immediately. And there are those that we have control over, with just a simple change of perspective, a simple change of mindset, we can solve them, those kind of flaws. And a lot of people, even though they realize that they're doing something bad in a way and it's considered a flaw, they most likely won't change or change how they do it or change what they're doing or even eradicate it completely, because sometimes people see it as a defense mechanism to dealing with people, with dealing with situations, dealing with their own circumstances, dealing with their own problems. And I understand that, of course. For example, if you are a person who do not share your emotions or share your feelings to your close friends, to your family, whenever you're going through something, whenever you have a problem, you see it as a solution for you and as a flaw at the same time, because it's how you deal with your problem. It's how you know how to deal with it. It's what you've been doing this whole time. It's what you've used to. It's what you're used to doing. And you know that it's a flaw, but you can't immediately resolve it because you see yourself as a burden sometimes. If you share your problems with other people, you will feel, or people feel, that they'll be a burden to their close friends, to their families, to the people that around them. And while I understand that it's valid what they're feeling, if they're feeling that way whenever they try to share their problems with other people. And as I've said, it's not something that it's easily conquerable. Is that a word? Not sure. Where was I? I think I'm all over the place again, but I hope I'm making sense. And my main point here is for us to be able to conquer, to embrace the flaws that we have in ourselves, the flaws that we think we have as a person that's hindering us to be a better person, towards our betterment is comparison. If we constantly compare ourselves with other people's success, with other people perfection, we won't be able to accept ourselves fully, and we will see the things that we lack of as flaws. While I personally think that it's not. Most of the time they are not. While it is easier said than done to not compare yourself with other people, it's hard. It's really hard to do. And it's still a problem of mine up until this point. But I have the awareness to not do it. But still, it's hard to do. But it all starts with ourselves. It all starts within us. It all starts with our mindset, on how we look at it, on how we handle it. If we just accept to ourselves that, if we just like genuinely accept ourselves for how we are, for what we look like, for how we handle things, for how we feel about certain things, if we just fully accept that, like genuinely on the core level of acceptance, the flaws that we see within ourselves will not be called flaws anymore. They'll be called parts of ourselves, part of who we are, and part of making who you are as a person. Though, while I'm quite aware that, this is just my opinion, you can see it differently, you can have a different opinion, and that's okay. I respect that. And I'm just trying to share my opinion on this one, and help in a way, for other people to be more accepting towards their self. Learning to embrace your own flaws, learning to be yourself more. Because deny it or accept it, we know people that are, constantly having this image that they portray with other people, but when they're with other people, they have another image that they're maintaining or something like that. It's just that it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Or at least for me, when I think about it, it's truly exhausting. But who am I to say to say that? I don't know what they're going through or anything like that. It's just that it's just opinion. It's my opinion, and that's how I see it. And as I've said, you can have your different opinion in this one, and I would fully respect that. And that's just my experience and what I observe with other people. And I think that's it. I think I spoke my mind already. It's just been bothering me like last night. And I wanted to share it with you guys. And I hope you're all doing okay. I hope you're in a good place. I hope you're happy right now. And I want to know how you guys are. And I hope what you're dealing right now, you'll overcome it as soon as possible. And I know you will. Again, I hope I didn't bore you. I hope you didn't get bored. And I hope to see you in the next one. Stay awesome.